So sitting scrolling, I'm thinking about products. I've always associated life with different things that come out, and that is especially movies and actors, but also just general stuff like which gaming console comes out or which phone or whatever. What types of clothes do people wear at a certain time? And life kind of gets put in these bulks of time based on the stuff available. And I've kind of come to this point in life where I want to free myself from too much stuff. Like there's so much stuff everywhere and stuff costs a lot of money. That's how the whole business keeps turning around. If they don't make me want to buy their stuff, then they don't make any money, essentially. I mean, they can live without me buying it, but they can't live without everyone not buying their stuff. So I'm thinking like, what's the mental hack? Often catch myself wanting stuff when life is hard or when I don't feel so good. And then it can be almost like an ecstasy, that little moment before you buy something. Like building up to that moment before you buy something. Once you've bought it, so this is my experience, especially with video games. Once I've bought them, maybe after the first hour, I just feel completely hollow inside. Because then it's just like, yeah, I didn't really actually want this thing. I just made myself want it. And that kind of helped for a little while. With not dealing with my actual issues, the mental hack for this would have to be try buying something useful. So now I'm just thinking out loud, okay? So bear with me here. For example, make a list of the stuff that you want. And then when one of those days comes, which they tend to do, buy one of those things. And I don't mean that you need to necessarily sit down and make a list. Make a mental list, like just because I think of stuff all the time, and I try to keep track of the things that I feel like I need or really want. And I don't really need to write it down because it's not all that much stuff. Like literally. And then once those days comes, I try to make myself want that thing that I actually need. And it doesn't have to be something that I really need, but something that I actually really want. Because then, once I've bought it and it didn't really fulfill me all that much, I don't need to feel so hollow or sad about it afterwards because I actually needed that thing. An example of this is I've been putting off for a long time, putting some money into a service called RunPod, because I'm really into AI stuff and AI animation and all of that. It's been like a hobby of mine, and my laptop broke, but I've just had it in like the back of my mind that at some point I'm gonna try this thing. And it doesn't really matter because it's not subscription based, so I can just put some money in there and it's there for all of eternity, essentially. And I can use that to rent computers over the cloud. So it's not like, oh, now I have to use all that money because I'm subscribing to some crap. So I did this the other day. I went and put some money into RunPod. And it didn't really fix me, but it did have that effect. Because once I afterwards would have usually felt bad about it after having spent that money, I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna feel bad because I've been thinking about putting money in there for a long time. And next time I'm feeling bad, I'm going to make myself use that service a little bit. Sounds stupid, but it's a little mental hack of sorts. And the reason why it works on me is because I try to take the stuff that really makes me psyched, like that stuff that really excites me. If it was video games, then I would have done that, but I would have tried to make myself not buy a ton of stuff or not buy something that I don't need, essentially. That is the main idea here. Now, why is stuff so important? I think it's kind of important because we connect with each other through stuff. We organize time, as I said, like organize which decades we live in, according to stuff. So I take pride in, when I was a kid, some of the best movies came out. Like they came out all the time when I was a kid. And I thought that was just totally normal back in the 90s. Finding out later as an adult that that was like the golden age of Disney animation when I was a kid. I had no idea at that time, but that like gives me a little bit of pride, and it puts me in this bulk of children who grew up during that golden age of Disney animation, right? There's many things that has to do with stuff. I mean, stuff is culture. It really is. Like, we don't need to bag on stuff all the time. Sure, it's negative that there's so much garbage in the world. And I mean literal garbage, like we don't know where to put all of the stuff that we buy all the time. And that is negative. But if we're talking about what it is, like what is this stuff as a concept, it's culture. It's human culture. And that is very important, I think. But that's one of the amazing things about this time we're living in now, that much of that human culture can be digitized and not contribute to the vast amounts of garbage in the world. So one very positive evolution of stuff is that now we have streaming services. While when I was a kid, we had to go rent movies, and there was so much damn plastic all over the place because of those services, and gasoline from people having to drive to the movie store and from the movie store, or else they would get a fine for not delivering back the movies in time and all of that. All of that stuff in that cycle is gone now because of streaming services, which again eliminated a lot of online piracy and has made entertainment much more affordable. And it has negative backsides as well. Let's be honest, like I don't enjoy movies as much anymore. That can of course have to do with me getting older, but it does have something to do with me being overwhelmed by the sheer amount of movies I can choose now. While when I was a kid, you rented one movie and you had to stick with it. Like that's what you got. You just had to stick with it. It's not like that anymore. So of course, when I was a kid, I would not only see the movie I rented, but I would maybe see it many times because I didn't have any alternatives. So there's that. And I mean, that's kind of the downside with concepts like YouTube as well. It makes everyone a movie star, for a lack of a better term, but everyone can put content out there. And that also contributes to the mass amounts of, now I wouldn't say stuff, now I would say culture. Because, I mean, the only stuff related to that is the big, what would you call it, computer warehouses that have to store all of these videos. What do you call that in English? Man, I thought I'm so good at English. I'm an English teacher by profession, and the English language has so many words for so much stuff, but I can't think of them. Like, yeah, whatever. You get where I'm going, right? So the actual stuff, when we have to do with things that are online, it's the servers, that's the word, that store all of it. Thankfully though, it does go under the Google umbrella, and they have been pretty vocal about their plans to be carbon free in 2030, within 2030. I don't necessarily believe that they're going to reach that goal, but it is important that they have that goal and that they're vocal about it. That is one of the reasons why I try to stick with YouTube. And just the general concept of YouTube, I think, is a beautiful concept. Not developed by Google at all. It was bought by Google. I can't remember when. Like, that's a long time ago now. Wasn't that like 2012 or something? I don't remember. But either way, the concept of YouTube is beautiful, awesome. Just normal people making videos for each other. But again, someone has to pay the bill for all of these servers, and that's where all of these companies come and advertise a whole bunch of shit, making us want to buy more stuff. Some stuff we have to have, but not all of it, not even close. And the sad thing is when we're reliant on stuff to make us happy. Because then it's not the actual happiness, it's more of in my experience, more of a high I'm seeking and running away from myself. Because that's what I get through buying things. I get to not deal with how I'm feeling at the moment. And sometimes that is necessary. Don't get me wrong, sometimes it is necessary. Like when I quit drinking back in the day, I needed to just get away from myself. And then I would go on this clothing frenzy. I tried to go to the Salvation Army so that I don't spend a ton of money on clothes, because I bought a lot of clothes back then. But that was kind of my drug. When I was quitting drinking, I had to change out my entire wardrobe. And that was kind of a way for me to cope, right? So I needed that stuff to get through it. So I do see that it can, of course, be a positive thing, getting away from yourself with the help of some external stuff. But it's important to remember that when you're doing that, or when I have been doing that, I haven't dealt with any of the emotions that I was trying to get away from. So for example, going through my breakup now with my wife, I thankfully haven't felt the need to run away with the help of stuff, but I have felt the need with running away from those feelings through other means, which doesn't directly involve me spending money, but it involves me getting totally absorbed into something. So for example, YouTube is one of those things, thinking about all the channels I want to start instead of dealing with my emotions, or getting totally absorbed into AI animation, as I've talked about previously, instead of dealing with my emotions. So the mental hack for me there has been that I try to, okay, I'm going to let myself delve into some of these things because of course I need to feel good. I'm trying to let myself feel good, but at the same time, give me space to deal with what I'm going through. That's what I've tried to do, and I'm very thankful that I have done that, because allowing myself to just feel bad and sitting with that feeling allows me to get through it and put it behind me. Because of course I'm gonna feel bad. Like I've been with my wife for 8.5 years, and I can't just go buy something to not feel bad and then it's all gonna be okay and just do that the next year. Or I could, but I don't think that that would be any healthy. I heard someone talk about women, they get through their emotions much quicker because they react much more strongly than what men do, while men spend a lot longer time getting over their exes. And that's this whole strong man concept, right? Where we're not allowed to cry, we're not allowed to, right? So what do men do? The stereotypical man, he I don't know, goes to work out or get drunk or just not deal with anything. That is like a very stereotypical manly man way to deal with a breakup. I cannot cry. I don't know why. I can't remember last time I cried. Last time I cried was over 10 years ago. And I'm not proud of that. Not at all. I wish I was able to cry. But I'm a man who's grown up with two older brothers. One of those two I'm very close to nowadays, so I don't mean to talk badly about them, but we were a predominant manly household. Like, well, how would you even say it? Like, we had a stay-at-home mom and a dad who went to work every day and all day long, essentially, and two older brothers, and being guys, right, we would beat each other up, and yeah, you know how it is. So it's kind of been put in my head that babies, girls, and pussies cry. And I do not agree with that thought, but it's kind of under my skin in such a way that I'm not able to cry, sadly. So what can I do? My wife, she is able to cry. So she has cried a lot after this breakup. I know, because it takes a while selling the house and getting through this stuff. So how do I deal with it? Just be absorbed by these feelings and never get over them. What I do is I try to reflect on it talk about it and be with the feeling, be with the actual emotion. And what I learned after quitting alcohol is to think your thought all the way through. Meaning, for example, with alcohol, if you think about drinking, you should think about the entire episode, like what's coming after, how is it gonna feel, etc. And that you can apply to everything in your life. So for example, I allow myself to think, if that thought strikes me, I'm never gonna find love again, for example, because I'm feeling low. I'm allowing myself to think that thought all the way through. And that helps me deal with stuff, because I know it's bullshit, but thinking things all the way through reveals the bullshit and lets me deal with stuff. So this has kind of gone a little bit away from the core subject of this video, which was stuff, the power of stuff. But I think to just conclude this rant, I think stuff is amazing. I think what people create is amazing. It's one of the coolest things about being a human now in this day and age is what people are creating all over the world and what they're going to create in the future. But there's so much of it that it can easily drive us crazy if we let it. And we can easily be just totally absorbed in everything around us all day long without ever being with ourselves. So I can just spend all day on this smartphone or a computer or a VR headset. I never actually have to be with myself unless I'm going to bed. That can be extremely unhealthy, I think. So balance is key. Okay guys, that's it for today. I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.